Hey, welcome to Transformation Fridays. This is Chani. We're talking about resilience today. And I want to talk about resilience because it's one of the most quintessential elements of being able to move through this experience of being human with grace, with ease, with fortitude, and with acceptance. And so when we embody resilience, what we're really embodying is a willingness to see the insight, to see the wisdom, to allow that to become a part of the experience so that we can really grow from it without having to continue. And so allowing us to not have to continue to repeat experiences over and over again. Because once you embody resilience and you really are able to come back to center and you have a definitive sense of who you are and anything that comes up that maybe throws you out of alignment from that, you always have that reference point to come back to. That's leveraging resilience. And so resilience allows you to honor who it is that you are and knowing what that center reference point is so that you always have something that you can refer back to and say, this is where I want to be perceiving from. This is where I want to be experiencing from. And something that's throwing you out of alignment from that, you have the ability and the willingness to see, gain that insight, gain that wisdom, and put it to use so that you can more swiftly, more adeptly move through the experiences without really being thrown out of character, right? Without being thrown out of alignment from being the character that you are choosing to be in this lifetime. And that we want that to be a conscious choice. We want who it is that we are showing up as every day to be a conscious choice that we make. And so resilience starts to be something that we ask ourselves to embody anytime we're going through experiences that are intense, that may be jolting, etc. And so that's how we use it. That's how we use resilience. We use it as a tool to allow us to gather, gain, and accumulate the insight that we need within a particular experience to come back to who we are as swiftly as possible with as much grace and ease as possible. And so this is something that we can exercise and something that we can teach ourselves to use. And that's one perspective. It's a very important perspective, and it's one of the most powerful tools that we can learn to leverage within our lives. The other perspective that I want to put on the table, and this is something that I have played with a lot in my own experience, is the idea of something I call the resilience factor. And the resilience factor says that if I go through an experience that is typically deemed as difficult or is typically deemed as something that might cause a lot of pain or discomfort, and I'm able to move through that experience with ease, with grace, with a lot less pain and discomfort than might be expected, that the resilience factor is at play. And what that means is that I have already been through that experience in another lifetime. And so by virtue of my experience in a previous or parallel life, I am able to apply the resilience that was developed at that time with that experience and apply it now because of cellular remembrance, because we are in this lifetime the culmination of all lifetimes ever lived. And so all experience that you have ever endured is culminated in your now. And so for us to think that we don't have access to that information and to those experiences, to the wisdom that we have gained from those experiences is not very realistic from my perspective. And so when we go through something that is deemed difficult or deemed challenging, and we see somebody go through it with such ease, such grace, a lot of times I see us judging people for that. Maybe they go through a divorce or somebody has passed away and they're able to bounce back quickly, or they're able to really move through the experience with a degree of wisdom that we just find uncanny. Wow, you've gone through this thing. How can you be so lighthearted about it? How can you be jovial about it? And I would like to propose that this is the result of the resilience factor, because if you've gone through something in a past or parallel life and you're accessing that wisdom now at a cellular level, it's not a conscious memory, you're emotionally, you know what to do, right? From a spiritual perspective, you know what to do. The feeling that it brings up, you say, I know how to manage this. I know how to deal with this. I know what steps to take, and it's innate and it's natural. And so I think this happens in many different instances, and it can do wonders, I believe, for our ability to relinquish judgment in the way that people go through experiences. I see a lot of times we have very heightened expectations as a conscious collective for how we think somebody ought to process an experience. And if we consider the resilience factor and we consider that there is something else at play that may be allowing them to experience this aspect of life in a way that is more graceful and is exhibiting more ease, that may be why. Maybe they've been through it before. And does that allow us to maybe see this in a different light? And so I hope that that's helpful. I wanted to share this with you today. Please let me know if you have questions. I will see you all next week. Thank you so much.